Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Get unrestricted access to worldwide content at expressvpn.com/inside. Elden Ring doesn't come out until next year on February 25th, but eager players can register for a chance to play the game early during a closed network test that starts later this week on Friday, November 12th. If you can't wait that long, then maybe you already noticed members of the games press and a number of content creators were already given early access and have begun flooding the internet with early impressions. For the most part, early reception seems to be largely positive, but there are some minor concerns brewing about whether or not the fully open world nature of Elden Ring will bring something truly unique to the FromSoftware action RPG formula, or if it will ultimately bog the game down with the same tedium and faults that other more traditional open world games have had in the past. IGN's Mitchell Saltzman had a pretty glowing breakdown of Elden Ring's network test, praising gameplay feel, enemy encounters, character customization, and the density of secrets tucked away around the world, but ended their impression with a tiny caveat. If the full version of Elden Ring can continue to match the quality of open world design found within this first area, then we're in for a very special game come February of next year. The sentiment was echoed and further explored by Vice.com's Patrick Klepek, who also really enjoyed their time with the game, but warned, yes, it's a delight to be rewarded for carefully exploring an otherwise innocuous area and finding an unexpected cave that leads to a little set of fights and likely a new weapon or attack. A few times though, those caves were too similar and boring, and there wasn't much unique about them at all. To add one more example, PC gamers Wes Fenlon said after spending 10 hours in the lands between, they weren't quite sold on Elden Ring's open world. To summarize, Fenlon starts out commending many of the game's strengths, including the newfound freedom offered by Elden Ring's setting, but relents, saying, "I'm worried that freedom means we're going to see a lot less of FromSoftware's traditionally great level design, and that the open world is more filler than new play space." It feels fair to be a little skeptical of big changes coming to the tried and true Souls formula, but it's also safe to assume From has considered these issues for a while now. Their solution appears to be legacy dungeons, which are scattered throughout the lands between and aim to provide a more linear or familiar Soulsborne game experience. Even though Stormville Castle, the legacy dungeon in the network test, isn't completely explorable, testimonies and pretty much every impression we came across were extremely positive. We should also add that pretty much every other aspect of Elden Ring, returning or new, has been largely celebrated. Most importantly for many, combat is on point, and players seem to be very excited about all the new options for different abilities and playstyles. For example, you can find Ashes of War, which can imbue your weapons with a magical property or ability and then be swapped to another weapon later. Anyways, even if Elden Ring's open world ends up being kind of a rote connective tissue between 8 or so legacy dungeons, it feels like there's going to be more than enough there to keep most players happy. But what do you think? Has the hype for Elden Ring hit critical mass, or will FromSoftware set a new bar for open world games altogether? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.